first of all, I'll give you a little details about who we are at Campus France. Campus France is actually really important for you if you want to get advice to go and study in France. We are the agency in charge of promoting the French higher education system in the Philippines and abroad. And our other mission is also to give you assistance, to give you advice on how you could prepare your mobility project to go to France to study in the university or school of your dreams. So, of course, we also give you information regarding scholarships, which we will present in a few minutes. So, okay, why study in France? I will give you with my colleague Paolo, which is also the face of Campus France in the Philippines. You will meet him a lot when you get to discuss with him about your mobility project. So I will give you with him 4 reasons so why you should go to study in France. And the first one is, of course, studying is really important. It's also about the experience, and there is not only the academics. So first I want to insist on the cultural aspects of studies in France. First of all, studying in France is not just for academic. France, first of all, is a gateway to Europe. You get to travel around a lot. It has a central position within the continent. We have a very developed infrastructure system. It's not that much of money to travel. Myself, as yes, I see a yes. When I was a student, I had like student wage. I had to work to finance my studies, and I could easily go to Amsterdam, to Italy, Germany, Spain, a lot of different European countries, and I'm sure that you will be able to do the same. When I was studying also, I had a lot of Japanese and Taiwanese friends in the framework of a buddy program. We used to have foreign students to integrate in the school, and like in 3 months, they had traveled in over 4 or 5 European nations. So you come to France, you get to travel across Europe. Moreover, it's also about the French art de vivre. What is art de vivre? The art of living. You get to taste good food, you get to meet nice people, you get to visit museums, you get to go to cinema, you get to be immersed in culture in France. And we, as students, you also get a lot of benefits to access museums, reduce cost. So really, you come to France, it's kind of a full package with culture, but also other aspects that we will present to you in a bit. So let me just showcase a bit of the festivities that we have in France. First of all, how many of you do know the Festival de Cannes here? Okay, some people, very nice. So for those who don't know, it's an international film festival where we get to give award to competing movies. So very famous, it's in summer. And other festivity that we have is Fête de la Musique. You know about Fête? Like, there is Fête de la Musique in France, where you get to move around in the cities. You can access, like you have parties all over the place. It's free, you get to access this. You walk in Paris or in Lyon, or a big city. It's so crazy. And also in the Philippines, in Manila, you have Fête de la Musique, also organized by the Alliance Française. It's also in June. So really, you get kind of a full package of cultural activities. And maybe one last activity is Festival d'Avignon for those of you who like living arts and representation. So it's one of the biggest international theater and living arts festival in France, in a southern city, which is Avignon. You get to access all kind of cultural activities when you come to France. And so now to get to the hard part of it, so regarding academics, I will hand the mic to my colleague Paolo, who will present to you everything related to the study programs.
Thank you, Adam. Ball in season, sorry. For reason number 2, of course, it can't be all fun and games. For those of you who are thinking of studying in France, the good news is you do not need to speak a word of French to be a French student. There are over 1,700 programs that are taught either entirely or partially in English, and these range from short duration programs to fully fledged masters and PhDs. And well, of course, it's going to be different if you decide to leave the campus. You're going to need to speak French anyway. So just in case you're interested in picking up the language, we share a space in the atrium with the Alliance Française, They are a French cultural and language institution based in Manila. And the advantage with that is you can learn the French language wherever you want, whenever you want with the Alliance Française. And for any other questions about the Alliance, you can scan this QR code and you can visit the booth that they have. I think it's right next to ours, downstairs. And some more reasons based on objectivity to go to France. Of course, you can't really neglect the status of French higher educational institutions, and these schools figure relatively frequently on the QS and the Times Higher Education rankings. So you can see here Sciences Po, which is also present in the fair. They have a booth downstairs, and we have some universities as well, such as the Polytechnic University of Paris, Sorbonne University, and PSL, INSEAD, which is a leading school as well, a private school for management. Okay, and let me return the floor to Adam to discuss the fourth reason why you should go to France.
Thank you, Paulo. So many universities that you can go to study, which are very highly ranked in international ranking. So there was a lot of universities that you could see. If you could take a photo, if you want, we can put them back again if you want to choose accurately, depending on the field of studies you want to get immersed in. But I want to insist on something very specific to France, which is the whole health and care package that we give to international students who come to study in France, because in France we care for you. Why? First, every student has access to subsidized healthcare coverage, which is mandatory for all students, which is subsidized up to an average of 70%. For example, if you get sick, you are covered. You go to the doctors and you get reimbursed for the fees that you give him. So partially reimbursed. So really, there's healthcare, there has assistance. So if you get sick, you will get help. And I know that maybe there are parents here in the assistance know that if your child is going to study in France, the state is behind him in case if he encounters any kind of health difficulty. Another advantage is that we also have different student assistance services. First of all, we have the Bienvenue en France label, very important. In your quest of finding a French university or a school that will fit your purpose, your dreams, it's really important that you get to see this Bienvenue en France label. What is it? It kind of testifies, it's a testimony of the ability of a higher education institution to, it testifies about its openness, like internationalization. So when an institution has this label, it means that they provide services such as help, assistance to find student housing, or they give you like a full package to help you get integrated into student life when you reach France. Also, we have the Crous Network. Very, very important logo right there. Crous Network, what is it? Remember two things. One, it's about student housing. When you go to France, there's of course the private housing markets with price that can vary a lot. But when you get access to student housing, for example, if you go to Paris, you can get access to a 400 per month house. So if you go to another city, like a smaller city, like Lyon, which is the second biggest city in France, you can, for example, myself, when I was a student, I was living in Lyon, and I only had to pay a little bit more than 200 euros to actually live in a Crous housing. It's not because it's 200 euros that it's bad or cheap. It's because behind the state in France is behind education. It finances education because we believe in the accessibility of education for all. And second purpose of Crous that you can remember as a future French student is that you get access to university restaurants. Within these university restaurants, you can get meals that are around 3 euros and 30 cents, which, if my memory is correct, is around 200 peso. So really important to get access to the restaurants. And once again, it's not because it's 200 peso that it's bad or cheap. It's because there is subsidy by the French government. That's why. Finally, CAF, which is Caisse d'allocation familiale. When you get access to housing, whether it is private or students, you can get complementary assistance, like financial assistance on a case-to-case basis, to help you pay for your rental. So, financial assistance. The important part, I know that a lot of you are trying to figure out whether you have the budget to go study in France. I know that it's a lot of money. I know that when you're parents, it means that it's kind of an investment in the future of your child, and we understand this. And what I would like to present to you are the scholarship opportunities that we have here at the French Embassy, but not only the French Embassy, but for the French Embassy programs. We have the Phil France scholarships. What are the Phil France scholarships? We have two programs. The first one is Phil France Master. It's available to all students applying in a master's degree, resulting in a Diplôme National. You can take photos of the benefit, of course. If you are selected, what happens? You get, if you register for the category here, which is like public higher education institution under supervision of the French Ministry of Higher Education, so public institution, you get a waiving of tuition fees or registration fees. You also get, very important, 860 euros per month allocation through the whole duration of your master's studies in France. We pay for the round-trip economy airfare. You go to France in August, we pay for it. When you come back 2 years later at the end of your master, we pay for your return. You also access, like you have a visa application fee exemption, you get affiliated to Social Security, and you get priority assistance in filing student housing in what I showed you before, CROUS, student residences. So CROUS from France will help you find a residence in which you will settle for your studies. Next program is Phil France DOST. Among you, who knows what is the DOST? Okay, a few people. It's the Department of Science and Technology, thank you, from the Philippines. So it's the resulting from a partnership with DOST and the MSc of French. So we have a scholarship program. What is it? Is that if you apply for a state control, or if you are accepted in a state control master's degree or doctorate, which is a PhD degrees, you can get a scholarship which is like co-funded by both French Embassy and DOST. On the care of the French Embassy, you get a waiving of registration fees for public higher education institution under the supervision of our Ministry of Higher Ed, affiliation to Social Security, and assistance in finding student housing in CROUS university residences. The DOST, our partner, finances the round-trip economy airfare and the monthly allocation, which is calculated on a base-to-base basis. But I have to warn you, the counterpart of this agreement is that you have a mandatory, if you are selected, mandatory return service in the sending institution for a period equivalent to twice the length of the time spent in the framework of the scholarship program. Very important. But it works. We have a lot of students who go through this program through the years, so I really invite you to apply. So these are priority fields of study which are taken into consideration when you apply for this scholarship, but keep in mind that they are not mandatory fields of study, they are just priority fields of study. So don't hesitate to apply. So next is, of course, the EHEF Excellence Program, which is a merit-based competitive scholarship offered by our Ministry of Europe and Foreign Affairs. So the applications are by the end of the year, so you should start to check right now for the application dates, the next application dates. If you are selected, you get, if it's for a master program, you get 1,181 euros per month, or 1,700 euros. Care that this is a very selective, very competitive scholarship. So, but really, we know that there are a lot of young talents here. Don't hesitate to apply. You have nothing to lose. And if you are selected, maybe it's a life-changing moment. So really apply for this EHEF scholarship and apply for the Phil France scholarship. Finally, okay, I will leave the mic to my colleague Paolo, so he will help you how to get started for your studies in France.
Thank you, Adam. Just a side note on the EHEF Excellence Scholarship, they actually just opened applications for the next school year. So if you have questions, feel free to approach us downstairs, should the time we have here not be sufficient for Q&A. But yeah, so getting started. So how do you even begin your journey of being a student in France? Well, first thing you need to make sure that you have is admission into your chosen program before applying for the visa. So in the case of master's programs, we unfortunately do not have a centralized application system yet. So you will need to approach your respective schools and apply for your desired programs yourselves. And once you're accepted into your program, then we can start thinking visa. And you can apply for the visa as early as 3 months before your expected departure. And it usually takes around 3 to 4 weeks. Although come August, September, you can expect that duration to really extend. And we're going to discuss the 3 essential requirements for the visa. Of course, you can consult the France Visas website for a more exhaustive list. But the 3 main requirements, I would say, are, of course, the proof of admission into your program. The second one is the means of sustenance. So we're looking at least 615 euros for every month that you will be staying in France. So if it's a 2-year master's degree, that's at least 615 euros, or its equivalent, times 24. I'll let you guys do the math. And in the case of the means of sustenance, you can have someone sponsor you for your stay. You will just need to supplement your application with the documentary requirements given by your sponsor or by your benefactor. And likewise, for the proof of accommodation, you will need to show proof that you will not be living in the streets of Paris while you are studying. It can be a hotel or an Airbnb booking. It can be a private contract of lease. And likewise, it can be a sponsorship accommodation if someone is going to host you, be it family or friends in France, or let's say that your company is financing your stay in France, they can provide documents that can back your application. And then you have the minor processing fee of 99 euros. Just an idea of how much it costs to live in France. Adam mentioned that thanks to the cruise, you can have access to student meals for 3 euros. And these aren't just measly meals. Either you get an appetizer, a main course, and a dessert. So it's really something that that you can take advantage of. And you are looking at two different breakdowns or estimates, because as we all know, it's notoriously expensive to live in Paris. So on that note, if you are thinking of studying in France, make sure that you consider schools that are outside of the capital, because not only will you have the advantage of having less competitive schools, because from the Philippines alone, around half of the students study in Paris. So you'll be facing less competition from the Philippines at least, and at the same time, you have the advantage of spending less for your stay. And an estimate of tuition costs. So you're looking at 2,700, or for the sake of having a rounder figure, 3,000 euros for undergraduate and 4,000 euros, more or less, for masters, and 400 for a PhD in France. Do keep in mind, though, that these are for public institutions or universities, whereas if you were to study in a private institution, the rates can vary wildly. It's best that you check with your chosen school how much the tuition fee will be in the event of an application in a private school.
Just on a side note, regarding the tuition fees, as it is written, some universities, the differential fees between like non-EU and EU citizens are sometimes at the same. Not all universities apply like this, like the 2,000 and 3,000. So you have to check prior with them if they apply it or not. That's why. But they will tend to get more and more on the price that I mentioned in the thousands here. That's why.
Thank you. And yeah, so the first step is, of course, to find the program for you. And we have the tools at Campus France for that. So we have dedicated catalogs for programs that are, say, taught in English if you do not speak French yet. We also have a dedicated platform for master's programs and for programs that are taught online entirely or partially as well. You do not need to leave the Philippines if you want to study in a French school. Something that we've seen master's students do is they take the first 2 semesters in the Philippines, and then they spend the last 2 semesters and complete the graduation ceremony in France as well. So it's something that you can consider. And lastly, we have a dedicated search engine as well. Adam mentioned the scholarships that we offer at the embassy level. Now, if you're looking for options beyond that, we have Campus Bulls, which is a dedicated search engine for scholarships and funding. And these can vary. These can be small one-time stipends. These can be 70% or 80% discounts off of your tuition fee, depending on who or what is giving the scholarship. And on that note, it can also come from the state. It can come from private entities. It can come from foundations. The good thing with this is you can sort your search so that it shows only results that are applicable for Filipino students. And with that, we would like to say merci beaucoup.
Merci.
If you have other questions, I believe we still have around 5 minutes or so. And please feel free to take note of our contact details. If you have any other questions regarding your studies in France, we're there for you. You can reach out to us by email, Facebook. I'm still supposed to get used to it. X, it's no longer Twitter, and Instagram. So yeah, if you have any questions, the floor is yours.
And remember, as the title of the presentation, Bienvenue en France, welcome to France, come and see us, come and study in France, we're waiting for you.
Yes, sir.
May I ask, the other countries who, good afternoon, may I ask, the other countries who presented earlier said that they stated that they issue work permits for international students. Do France do the same?
Yes. In fact, as a student, you have the right to work 60% of the legal workload every year, and that is regardless of nationality. So it's just a bit above part-time. And if you're thinking more long-term, we have in France the RECE, or the visa for the recherche d'emploi ou création d'entreprise. In English, it's for a job search / startup. So if your intention after completing your study program in France is to either create a business there or to look for work, it's something that you can apply for. It's sort of a year-long grace period after your studies, but do keep in mind that it's only for university programs. So that's undergraduate, master's, and PhD. Other training programs or study programs won't be eligible.
Merci.
Delia, do we have other questions, please?
Anything on your mind? If it's not even related to this, just ask questions regarding France, we're open.
What's it like living here compared to France?
Thank you, that's an interesting question. What's it like living here compared to France? I've been here for 4 months. I love this country. Like the landscapes are like it's one of the I've seen the most beautiful places in my life here, like in Leyte Island. It was crazy. Boracay also. But it's like I'm not studying here, so it's not. I don't know if I really can compare. When actually before coming to, I'm here for France, but before coming to France, well, I'm a French citizen, but I used to grow up in Morocco. I grew up in Morocco. I came to France for studies. What struck me in France, and that's why we started the presentation with this, is like all the cultural activities. Like there are so many things to do. Like you're always busy. Like you can do a lot of stuff with your friends. That's what struck me. I feel like in the Philippines is kind of similar. Like there are a lot of cultural activities. There's music. People like to dance. There's, I don't know, a kind of similar. It feels. Thank you too. I hope you get to France and you can share your experience when you come back.
Maybe one day.
One day. Especially the TGV. What a French icon indeed.
You know the TGV?
Yes, the high-speed train.
So we were talking about like moving around Europe, but when you want to move around in France, like you want to go to any city which is connected to the network of the TGV, like it takes nothing. Like to go to Lyon, which is a bit far, you know, it takes 2 hours, so you can travel from both cities.
Okay, that's all the time we have. Thanks everyone for joining us here, and if you have any other questions beyond that, you know where to find us. Merci.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Paulo.